All right, all right, all right. We are back. Our final speaker. Listen, I need you to understand as I introduce this man, this gentleman, and I've worked with him. He's been a mentor of mine for a long time. And even when we weren't in the same business, he's always been supportive throughout the years. When I ran my campaign, he supported that. And when I called him and reached out to him about this, I was like, he was like, when I made my list, I was like, I need Mr. Self. And I was like, man, he didn't respond. And then he came because I know how busy he is. So I was like, listen, once he said yes, I was like, we gonna squeeze. You getting in there? You getting in there? So this is, I'm saying this publicly. My wife knows this. She'll laugh because uh, she knows I credit this man as one of he is the most influential mentor and model in my life. So when I met him, I think I was 26 at the time, and just he was a man who I could see in myself in. And what I mean by that is I could see that if he could do it, like it's real. So when I had a dream and I wanted to be an entrepreneur, it was in him that I was like, it's real. And he poured into me and thousands of people as well. Wasn't just me. But so this man has had some tremendous success, helped tens, I don't know, what's the number, 50, 60 people earn over $1 million, at least six-figure incomes. He's been named the Black Chamber of Commerce Entrepreneur of the Year twice. Some phenomenal things, and I'm just ecstatic to have him here because. And last thing, I'm gonna let you go. I know this is kind of getting look. I believe men need to appreciate each other. All right, ain't nothing soft about it. Honoring other men as well. So this is some teaching as well. I don't know if you remember this or not. When we saw each other in it was Newport News, the Marriott Hotel. You were down there doing a briefing. My wife still laughs at me because I was like, "Is that Mr. Self?" And I ran over there to you. She was like, "What the heck?" Cause she'd always heard about. She didn't know who you were. I was like, "That's Mr. Self. That's Mr. Self." And I call him Mr. Self. I've always called him that, but I'm gonna try to call him Darnell today. I don't know. It might just be Mr. Self. We'll see what happens. But anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. Enough of that. Darnell Self, thank you for joining us for Reset 2020, man. Thank you.
Man, it's a pleasure. It really is, man. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much, man. You make me blush over here, man. And it's an honor. It really is. I'm not sure if I'm deserving of all of those overly kind words, but certainly glad to spend 15 minutes or so with the audience, and proud of you, honestly, to create a platform that adds value to so many people's lives across the not just across the country but around the world. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much. So the reason I wanted to have you on is because, like I said, when I was 26, when I first got involved with our business, I had never heard of personal development. I had a college degree. I had dreams and goals, but I had never really got involved with personal development. I never worked on myself. So we talk about reset yourself. Obviously, it's a play on your name, but it's deeper than that as well. So I wanted you were so influential in getting me and so many others into personal development and into really working on ourselves. But even doing that, even as a student of personal development, a teacher of personal development, when life hits you, sometimes you just resort to what you know, and you're just scratching and clawing. So I want to give you the floor to kind of inspire us as we go out of here to how can we reset ourselves and just who we are and have at it, man. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And listen, just so that we can level set the audience here. I mean, I'm probably the least qualified person to be on this platform today.
No way.
And I don't say that to be facetious. I mean, it took me 7.5 years to get my 4-year degrry from college. I was every major, you name it, I was it. So I had no idea, man. If I had to go through a doctoral program, my gosh, how long? That would have been another 20 years. So I mean, I was the kid who didn't know. You know what I mean? I had no idea what I want. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Right. And so at 18, sometimes your parents make it seem as though you're supposed to know everything you want to do. And people often ask things like, "So what do you want to do? What are you going to study? What's your major?" And you feel uncomfortable if you're a kid and you don't know. You're like, "I'm undecided," and you feel guilty for being undecided. But look, I know 35-year or 40-year-old men who still are unsure. You know what I mean? And so it's a lot of pressure on our young men and women, when they first go off to school, or if they decide not to go to school. So that was me. 7.5 years to get my 4-year degree. I was every major you name it. I was there: pre-med, zoology, psychology, radio, television, and film journalism. It's a true story. Went to my advisor my 7th year. I said, "What do I need to do to graduate?" And she looked at all my credits. She said, "First of all, you have enough credits for 3 other people to graduate with you." She said, "Second of all, if you take a major in PR, public relations, you can actually graduate right now." And that's how I got my degree. So that was me throughout my collegiate experience. And I used to work at a mall. And am I breaking up, sir? Mr. Greene?
We're good. We're good. The sound is still
Okay,
good, and we're
good.
recording, so yeah, we'll be good.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good. So I felt like, listen, I got to figure out what I want to do, and I was working at a retail store. And for those who may be from the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, it was a mall called Prince George's Plaza. And I sold men's and women's clothing. And I was looking for something else, and I didn't know what, right? I was working 60 to 80-hour work weeks. And here's the reason why I share with you this story. At 24 years old, I met my first entrepreneur who was successful, who looked like me. And Les Brown says, once your mind's expanded, it can't go back. And I knew too much. I knew my worth. Like, people often say to me, listen, as an entrepreneur, isn't that scary to not know when your next check is coming in? Like 2 weeks check, 2 weeks check. Like, I know when my next check is coming in. I'm like, no, it's scary for me to know what my next check is going to be and when it's coming in, because that means I've given someone else permission to dictate my worth, my value. And because of personal development, what Mr. Greene is talking about, because of personal development, I believe I'm better in 2 weeks than I was the prior 2 weeks. I'm better this month than I was last month. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father. I'm a better man. I'm a better leader. I'm a better friend, because I'm growing. I'm reading, right? I'm stretching myself. I'm attending seminars. So how can someone tell me I'm worth the same in 2 weeks than I was the prior 2 weeks if I was growing? See, and the only reason people accept 2 weeks check, 2 weeks check, 1 week check, 1 week check is only because they allow someone else to say, here's what you're worth to me. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm a CEO too. I can't pay my employees more than I make. I get the system, but it's modern day slavery. And so it's not until we make a decision that, you know what, I am worth more. Right? Unless you love what you do. Don't get me wrong. If you love what you do, you have a career and you absolutely do it. It's not for the money. You get, you know what I mean? I'm an educator and I love educating the kids. I don't do it. I get that. But if you don't love it, here's how you know. If I stroked a check for you today for $1 million, will you wake up and go to work in the morning? That's how you know, right? That's how you gonna know, right? Because at that point you're like, not for real, I'm calling in sick. I got $1 million, I got 7 figures in the account. So exactly. So I started my journey in personal development at 24 years old. I'm 50 years old now. So I've been reading for a very long time, like I've heard from many of your guests. And so I learned that personal development allowed the same things to happen to me. I just responded differently. It doesn't change what happens to you, right? Because life has a way of just throwing stuff your way. The pandemic was coming, but it's how you respond to it. That's the difference between those who are personally developed and those who are not, right? The problems that seemed big last month seem smaller. Not that the problem is actually smaller, it's just that you're bigger. And so you look at the problem as if it's smaller. You get over it in an hour instead of getting over it in a day or a month. And you know those folks, right? They get to work in the morning and talking about what happened to them on the way to work. Lunch break, as soon as they see somebody, like, hey, let me tell you what happened to me this morning. At night when they get home to their spouse, I'll tell you what happened to me this morning. The next week, they're like, bro, I didn't see you last week. Let me tell you what happened. Dude, it's a week, a month. You know people like that. They've been talking about the same thing for 20 years. I'm like, dude, that was 20 years ago. Like, let it go, man. Right? So the problem with, I think the problem with me and many others recommending personal development is that you don't see a shift right away, right? And because you don't see a change right away, we're like, I read the book and you're just waiting, right? It's like I attended the seminar, waiting. I paid for the class, waiting. And doesn't happen like that. Right? It's spaced repetition. You got to go over and over and over and over. You got to read over and over. It's like people say, I've taken a shower. For the year, you're good? This is why we recommend baths and showers every day. You got to do it frequently in order for it to impact you. Plus, the last piece is that even though you're reading, I'm just going to recommend that you listen. I don't care if you're not a reader. People are like, well, that's good for you. You're a reader. Listen, I actually don't like the actual act of reading. I just like the results I get from reading. Right? So you've never heard me say, Mr. Greene, you never heard me say, I can't wait to dig into this book. Oh my gosh, I've been thirsting this book. Because I got a big library over there, right? But I thirst what I get from it. You know what I mean? I know what the results have been. And so this is why I recommend it. So here's this last thing I want to share with you all. Because people expect that they're going to get immediate results, they don't trust the plan. They don't trust the plan. And I would highly recommend that you don't become over-dependent on your own agenda. Because what will happen is that you just figure that, oh, this is a dead end. That means it wasn't meant for me, right? We talk ourselves into this. All it takes is one mistake, one no, one rejection. We're like, oh, I guess it wasn't meant for me. No, that rejection was meant to make you stronger for what was coming up next, right? It was there to build muscle, right? For mental stamina. And so what happens is that, we hope and we wish and we wait, and none of that's a strategy. None of that is a strategy. So the reason why I said I was, probably underqualified, or the most underqualified person for this particular platform, is because, I didn't really go to study. I'm Self. I keep using Self as my last name, but that's not really why I use it. By the way, Self is not my real last name. It is the name that I know, right? My name came from my great-great-grandfather, who was not a Self. He was a Johnson, which wasn't his real name either, but he was on a Self plantation in Virginia, and the slave owner gave him their last name, which is Self, from the Self plantation. That's where my name came from. So Self is my name. I just don't know what my real name is, and so I just, that's the name that my mom and my dad gave me because that's the name they were given. But my point in saying all of this is I'm the guy, I'm just proof that dreams come true for everybody. That's what I'm proof of. I'm proof of that guy because I know I know how flawed I am. I know how many mistakes I've made. I know how many times I've had to say I'm sorry. I know that, right? And so because of that, because I know it more than you, because I don't tell you everything, because you can't handle the truth. Right. So, and because of that, I know that I'm like, my God, you can do it if you really knew my story, right? Listen, real quickly, I'm gonna end with a story because I like to tell stories. Mr. Greene knows I tell stories. You'll never hear me talk without sharing a story.
Absolutely.
So, I'm an introvert by nature. You should know that. By the way, I speak for a living, but I'm an introvert by nature. So all the folks say, well, I just don't talk. You got to get the gab. No. I heard Dr. Ferguson say it. If your why is strong enough, you'll figure out how. No more excuses. When I let go of my excuses, I found my results. That's enough of that. Like, that's not my personality. Get a new one. You can listen, you can develop into whoever you want to be. Stop listening to what people told you. That's just who you are. No, it doesn't. That's who you were. Doesn't mean who you're going to be. So introvert. Right? All that means is that I'm okay by myself. I'm the only child. So growing up, my parents worried about me. You need to get out more. You need to make more friends. Right? Why don't you go over your neighbor's house? Go over there. I'm like, I'm good, Mom. But you're your only child and you're an introvert. Your parents worried about you. But I was okay. I really was. So as an introvert. So my mom made me join the junior usher board at church. Never forget it. Washington, D.C., right? And church was called Glendale Baptist, right? It's no longer in existence, but Glendale Baptist. So I had to go to church and be a junior usher board because she figured I could make me some friends. Joined the junior usher board and I learned how to serve. So I learned how to stand up when other people were sitting because I was the usher. They got to sit, I got to stand. That's okay. I was learning how to serve. Didn't know what capacity this was going to serve for me in my life later on. When it was raining outside, I held the umbrella for the elderly. I walked into their car. I got wet, they didn't, but I was learning how to serve. When we had the little bake sales in the basement of the church, they ate. I didn't. I was serving the cake. They get to eat. They got to eat. But that's okay. I was learning how to serve. See, I was learning how to serve at 11 years old. Then Christmas came around. So 14 years old at this time. And this rap group was out called Run DMC. And they wore Adidas sweatsuits, for those who remember. And I asked my mom, my dad, can you buy me an Adidas sweatsuit? They said, sure. Well, Christmas Day, I opened up the Christmas gift I had. We didn't have a lot of money as a family, My father drove the Metro bus, which is a DC Transit. My mother worked for the government. And so when I opened up the box, the sleeve rolled out from that jacket, and it had 4 stripes, Ryan Greene. And for those who know Adidas, there's 3 stripes, not 4. So I'm like, Mom, help me, right? And because my mom was like, Mom, help me. She's like, your dad paid for it. You don't have to wear it. And I went to public school. I didn't go to private school. So I was used to wearing what I got from Christmas the next day back from winter break. That was the deal. You got to wear your Christmas clothes.
That's right. Right.
It was the worst day ever. Listen, Ryan Greene, worst day ever, bro. Because I got teased. I had on a 4-stripe sweat. I didn't even know what it was.
Right.
It was horrible.
Man.
Why am I saying this to you guys? Listen to me. Because my mother said, if you want to wear designer clothes, you got to go get a job where they sell it. So I went to this store to apply called Up Against the Wall. They sold all the trendy items back in the day. And I filled out an application. The manager looked at the application, put it in the box. I'm walking out. There's a whole bunch of applications, paper applications. That's how old I am. It wasn't digital. It was paper applications. Right. And before I got out the door, he called me back. He said, Darnell. I turned around. He's holding the application. And I walked back. He said, you want to work here? I said, yes, sir. He said, you want to start right now? I said, sure. He said, you want to know why I'm hiring you? I said, why? He says, on the bottom of the application where it says extracurricular activity, you put junior usher board. And I feel like anybody, a grown man who put junior usher board has got to love to serve. Man.
Wow.
So I got the job. Watch this. I got the job. When I was going to University of Maryland, I got the job. I switched stores to a location right across the street from University of Maryland. Well, my wife was walking, at the time, this girl was walking past that store in the mall. She saw me in there. She said, that man is fine. I'm going to get that job. This is my version. You got to ask her version another time.
That's right.
So she walked in to get the job. Long story short, guys, because you probably wondering, where am I going with this story? Stick with me. Watch this. One day a thief came in there, threatened my life because I told him not to steal the coat. Called the store, in fact, the next day, because I called security on him. It's a whole long story. Won't get into that. My wife was now working at the store. She answered the phone. She was the cashier. I was the manager. He said, hey, tell that manager dude when he walk out the store tonight, he's getting capped. Urban translation shot, right? Just in case there's some folks who don't know the urban vernacular. So my mom calls, my wife calls my mom and says, Mom, Darnell just got his life threatened. My mom gets me on the phone, and first she says, let us pray. You gotta know my mom. So before she says anything, it's like, hey, babe, let us pray. I'm like, Mom, I'm at work. I can't close my eyes. She's like, that's okay. Pray. So she said, here's what she said after the prayer. I don't know if you know the story, Ryan. She said, no. You quit your job. A lot of people think I quit my job because I've been successful as an entrepreneur. That's not the backstory. She said, you need to quit your job. I said, Mom, I can't quit my job. I got a house. I got a car note. She says, I'm not losing my only son over some foolishness. Quit the job. Here's my point, guys. And don't get me wrong, I went through 3. I don't want you guys to think that all of a sudden I had success after that. I quit my job, but I had 3.5 years. I call it my season of preparation. I lost my cars. My house went up for foreclosure. It was a horrible time. I won't go over that because that's not the point of the story. But it took me through a lot before we started earning millions. I appreciate the accolades, sir, and all the wonderful things you said. But I just want you to know it's 3.5 years. 3.5 years, I made $10,000 in those almost 4 years combined. Take 4 years combined, and I made $10,000. My wife was trying to support the family. She's working at BET, Black Entertainment Television, and it was tough. What's my point of this whole story? I'm ending with this. Here's the point of my whole story. What if I was over-dependent on my own agenda? I would have to say, God, please make me an introvert because I need my parents to worry about me. And I need them to worry about me so much that they force me to join the junior usher board. And I need to join the junior usher board because I need to learn how to serve. Now, I need to join the junior board as well because I know my dad's going to buy me a fake Adidas sweatsuit. So God, please allow my dad to buy me a fake Adidas sweatsuit because that's the only reason I'm going to go get a job where I can buy real Adidas sweatsuits. And the only reason why I had to work or at least serve with the junior usher board is because I need that manager to see on the application junior usher board. And normally a grown man is not putting junior usher board on a job application. But I need to put that on a job application because I need to be hired. And the reason why I need to be hired is because I need to work at that store because I need my wife to walk past that store. Now I need this young lady to walk past that store, and I need us to date, and I need us to fall in love, and I need us to get married, because when this thief comes in and we get into this altercation, I need my wife to work there. And the only reason I need my wife to work there is because I need my wife to answer the phone when the thief calls and threatens my life. And the reason why my wife has to be the one to answer the phone, because my wife is the only person I know who will call my mom because my life is threatened. So I need my wife to call my mom because I need my mom to tell me, let us pray and quit your job, because that's what she received in the spirit. And the reason why I need her to tell me to quit my job, because I really can't think of anybody else in the world, Mr. Greene, that can tell me to quit my job and I got responsibilities and I quit my job except my mom. So I need to quit my job, though, because I got to go through 4 years of a season of preparation. And the reason why I've got to go through 4 years is because I'm going to build a big team of entrepreneurs, because I'm in the direct selling industry. And I got to build a big team of entrepreneurs who can trust me. And the only way they're going to trust me is if I'm speaking with them, not down to them. And the only way I can speak with them is if I can relate to them. And the only way I can relate to them is if I know what it's like to have nothing, and I know what it's like to have a whole lot. And I've been in both places, sir. And that's the reason why I'm telling you guys, this reset 2020, this July 2020, this last 6 months of 2020, anything can happen, but it may not look like you want it to happen in the beginning. But just trust that it's happening to set you up for the next stage. Listen, the only reason I opened certain doors was because another door closed. I wasn't even looking for the other door, because I was in a different room. It wasn't until I opened that door to realize there was another room with another door. But guess what? That door had to shut too for me to look for the next room. And before you know it, man, I had mansions. Why? Simply because doors had to shut. So a door shutting is not denial. Maybe a delay, but it's an opportunity for you to grow, an opportunity for you to become, an opportunity for you to develop, to be the person that you've asked to be, to attract all the things you say you want. That's why it starts with self, my friend. Appreciate you having me on, my brother.
Mr. Self, Mr. Self, Mr. Self. Listen, man, that phenomenal, and exactly why I wanted you on here to share what I've been soaking up for the last 20-something years now. But listen, before we go, I want to put you on the spot, because I do want you to leave us with this one thing. You had the story about when you were at the airport, and there was a line of people trying to go through the door. Hopefully it's coming back to you. But there was another door no one was going through. And I want you to kind of share that with us, and I'll let you go after this, because I think that is so perfect for where we are right now. Because some people are going to go through 2020. Some people who didn't register for this, some people saw this event and they were like, hey, it doesn't, whatever, I don't need that. Some people are watching the event and they're still like, yeah, this is all good. But so you talk about you seeing the line of people going through that line. Those are those line of people lining up right now, and they're still going through, looking for their new normal. They're looking for their new, going back to what was normal. And you saw that door. I think it was at the airport where you were. You leave us with that story. Tell us about that, and then I'm gonna let you go. Did I lose you? Did you hear me? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there we go.
And I appreciate you, brother. I really do. And for whatever reason, I've got a bad internet connection today, so I apologize. I hope everything is coming through okay for your recording, man. Because the worst thing for me would be to disappoint you and the audience. But yeah, man, it was that was when I started to develop my confidence. I've heard a couple of your panelists and guests today talk about their confidence and their posture and belief. And I commend them, man, because when I meet people that have that type of confidence, man, I'm excited for them. And because I didn't have it, man. Like, I second guessed myself, and I always, wondered if, and maybe that's for other people, but not for me. And I could tell I started to develop the confidence. And this story proved it. I was like so happy for myself. I was. I know it sounds a little pompous, but I was just like, you did it, D. I was so, because when you're a guy who lack confidence, you know what I mean? Like when you know that you've been self-conscious, when you know you felt defeated, and you know that your esteem has been low. When you come out of that spot, man, you're like, it's like pursuit to happiness at the end when he was like, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
So LAX airport, I'll leave you guys with this last 2 minute story, only because you requested, guys, and we're going to let y'all go because y'all been on here all day.
Yeah.
LAX airport, I'm getting off the airplane. I walked to baggage claim. I had one carry-on, and I checked one bag in. So I'm rolling my carry-on. I turned this one corner, and there were two revolving doors that let you out from the airport area, I should say the terminal area, to the baggage claim area. Two revolving doors. One revolving door had about, I don't know, I didn't count, but maybe 50 people waiting to go out of it. The other revolving door had nobody, like not one person. Here's a crazy thing. There wasn't a sign that said out of order. There wasn't a cone up, wet floors. There wasn't tape over it, not functioning, go to the other revolving, nothing. Just people waiting to go out of the one door. And so, I just tell people, look, sometimes you just got to go for it and be willing to be embarrassed. And if you ever want to really succeed, I mean, massively succeed, I mean, like 7-figure level success, you got to be willing to be embarrassed. You got to be willing to have other people say, is he crazy? Is she out of her mind? Why? Because you're going against the norm. And wealth is a minority, not the majority. If everybody had it, wealth would be a majority, but it's not as a minority. So just trust you're going to be going in the opposite direction of the majority because you're a minority if you're going for wealth, because most folks won't go for wealth because they've been told it's not for them. So I see this line. I make the decision. I'm making it sound easy just because I got to make the story short. But I make the decision and I walk to the revolving door with nobody in it. Now listen, you got to walk past these people, right? And they looking at you like, where this dude going, right? Like if it worked, we all be over there. This is what people say. That's what they said when I started my business. If Darnell, I mean, that kind of stuff worked, everybody be successful. This is what people want to say to you. So, because they're comparing it to, it's a whole bunch of stuff people compare, but I won't talk about that. So I'm walking towards the door. And you can hear people whispering. You always want to see people take out their phones like, oh, we're going to videotape this because he's about to crash into the store. So I'm walking, right? Now, here's the problem with doing this. Just so y'all know, here's the problem with doing this. If it doesn't open, right? Because if you're going to hit the door, if you're going to take the next 6 months and really give it everything you have, you can't put your toe in the water. How in the world do you know if you're able to swim with your toe in the water? You're going to have to jump in. So if I'm going to hit the door, I'm going to hit the door. You can't ask permission for success either. When you reset in self, you can't ask permission. Do you think I should reset? Well, what do you all think? Well, listen, you buy people's opinions, you buy their lifestyle. So I didn't ask their opinion. Do y'all think this? Hey, anybody know? Does this open? No, you know why most people are over there? Because they're followers. So I didn't ask their permission. So I just walked, right? Like I knew where I was going. You got to know. And so I'm like I know where I'm going. And I hit the door. I hit it hard too. By the way, if it didn't open, that's what I mean by embarrassment. If it didn't open, I got to walk past those same people like, hey, how y'all, all right, excuse me, and walk back to get in the back of the line, which is now even longer than it was before. And hey, I'm sorry. Hey, but guess what? Most of those folks you never see again in your life. Most of the people who were around when I failed aren't around to tell you that I failed because they're no longer around. They're somewhere. I don't know what they're doing. I've never seen them again in my life. So who cares? Anyway, guess what happened? The door opened. And then guess what happened? Half the line got over. Half. The door was always available. The opportunity was always available. Reset was always there for them. But most of them weren't choosing reset because they're following. They're conformists. And that's what most folks do. They conform to what somebody else is doing. Oh, I guess they doing this is what I'm supposed to do. But people need a leader. That's all. They need you. The person that says, I don't have a GED. The person that says, I didn't have time, but I stepped out. The person that says, look, I was in a position making great money, but I had no time. So I stepped out to do something different because I wanted my time. My time was more important than money. They just need one person because we all got a story that's going to empower somebody else. By the way, I look back, Ryan Greene, and guess what I saw?
What you see?
Half the line got over. But more importantly, people were like excited. They were happy because they could go through faster. And that's what I'm trying to share with you. Some of you are the conduit. You are the person that will allow people to get to their dreams faster. And when you don't step out, you hold other people back too. There are people waiting on your story. And nobody else has a story like yours. So don't worry about if other people doing what you're doing. Well, there's 20 other people doing it. There's 2,000. Who cares? They're not you. People need you in order for them to see that they can do it too, because your story is going to relate to certain people that won't relate to any other story. All right, my friend. Hey, man, it is great to see you, brother. Congrats on everything, man.
Thank you so much. Mr. Self, did you want to give out any contact information, follow information, anything like that for those who want some more of Mr. Self?
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm on Instagram a lot. I'm Darnell underscore self. My last name is easy. It's like yourself, myself, Darnell underscore self. And I'm the real Darnell self on Facebook, the real Darnell self on Facebook. And look forward to connecting, making new friends and relationships.
Appreciate you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Keep doing what you do.